Hello, my name is Anita the Sarkeesian, and welcome to Feminist Frequency. The amazing atheist gathered his sexist friends to make his best attempt to ask social justice warriors questions. But they are of course nothing but sexist and racist.
Why do you claim to speak for LGBT people, women, and ethnic minorities, but when LGBT people, women, and ethnic minorities disagree with you, you harass them?
Don't look at it as harassment, it's just that sometimes people are too dumb to see their internalized hatred brought on by the patriarchy. It's important to know that if you are not with us, that you are against us. Even if you are a part of the group that we are working towards helping, you participating in this hatred against yourself is detrimental to our feminist ideology. Dissenting opinions are not welcome, because we are right and you are wrong.
Do you realize that your war on language through political correctness has made you bedfellows with true rape culture? In other words, Islam, the world's most misogynistic ideology.
Bedfellows? Such a sexist way to put things. I don't just go to bed with anyone, especially one without a face like you. Muslims don't deserve to be made to feel like they are seen as terrorists. That's the key, how they feel. 'Cause that's all that matters, they feel oppressed, like how I feel oppressed by female sexuality in video games. So I don't care if you feel I'm wrong.
Do you want women to be equal, or do you want women to be a protected class? You can't have both. If you expect society to treat women as equal with men, why don't women have to take responsibility for their own safety?
You clearly do not understand what feminists stand for. You ask if we want to be equal or a protected class. Well, in order for us to have equal rights, we need to be protected from men. All men are wired to rape. We simply want the equal rights that men have, you know, the right to walk freely down the street without being raped when men say good morning.
What are you afraid will happen when you leave your safe space?
What will happen when I leave my safe space? Seeing you're wearing a shirt that's referred to as a wife beater, do I even need to explain? While I will never be your wife, I have no doubts that you will inevitably try to rape me, and possibly beat me as well. That's why I need my safe space, you jerk.
How can you possibly justify the idea that it's somehow racist to disagree with Black Lives Matter, and yet it's not racist when a black person tweets something like, "Kill all white people"?
Talking like a typical white male. You're going by the old definition of racism. By the social justice definition of racism, black people cannot be racist because they lack the power that white straight men have. So even if they say kill all white people, that is not racist because they don't have the power to do so. Most they can kill is a few hundred. They lack the power that this white system of oppression has had for centuries.
Here's a question. Are you aware that the present is not the past? I'm not kidding. Are you familiar with the concept of linear time? Because you seem incredibly comfortable traveling back through time to talk about how bad things were for women, or black people, or whoever. And then by using some form of SJW magic, you then claim or imply that those problems in the past exist today. Are you aware that this trick that you're doing is not working? Why do you think that would work?
Atheism is unstoppable. You clearly have never dated a woman or black person before. If you did, you would know that each and every bad thing you've done will come back to haunt you. And guess what? White men have done some really terrible things over the years. Which means you are going to do the same being a white male yourself. I know you're not human, but I played Streets of Rage 3 while researching tropes against women in video games. Rue was a horrible victim of BDSM, and after his keeper was defeated, he instantly joined the main protagonist as a playable character for the rest of the game. Which means all kangaroos are simply tools to be used by those in power, and seeing white straight men are in power, you are being controlled by the patriarchy and your opinion is invalid.
Do you really think you can spend your entire life in a state of perpetual emotional immaturity? Do you actually imagine that you will be able to stretch out your adolescence for your entire existence?
Just because you are not mature enough to realize how you and your entire gender are oppressing women, that doesn't mean that I'm not mature. I feel it is very mature to see sexism and racism everywhere I go. You're simply oblivious to it.
There are 13% more women in college right now than men. So if the whole goal of feminism is equality, shouldn't we have some men-only scholarships in order to equal everything out?
It's very narrow-minded to just look at today. By your logic, why don't we just get rid of our winter coats because it's 90 degrees out? We have to look at patterns of oppression, and historically women and black people have been oppressed the most. So it's good to help prepare them for the world with handing them special scholarships they got for having the right genitals or skin pigmentation.
If feminism and egalitarianism are both for equal rights, then why does one start with a gendered prefix while the other one is entirely gender neutral?
It's simple, women are oppressed, men are not. Feminism is based on the principle that women are treated by society as inferior. It's like saying to Bill Gates, we know you have more money than anyone in the world, but have you considered not drinking expensive wine? Caring about white men's issues is like telling Bill Gates he needs to be careful spending his money. What's the point? You should be mad at Bill Gates for his shitty Microsoft help. I call them and tell them Xbox is sexist, because boxes are too similar to cups, and as you know from my previous video, cups are sexist. Then I said how X's and O's stand for hugs and kisses, and having a box dedicated to that, and sold to children is supportive of Namblat. The white cis male on the phone laughed and hung up on me. Fuck Microsoft help, and fuck Bill Gates for being a white male.
What do you hope to gain by bringing back racial segregation?
We're not bringing it back, we're rebooting it. This time they're called safe spaces, and anyone who is oppressed can come and not be judged.
When my granduncle was dropping bombs on London, did your grandparents get out of their bunkers in the morning to protest with signs that read, "Not all Nazis"?
They did, and were quickly killed for it. What's your point?
Why do you think every cis white male is born racist? Racism is a learned behavior.
Their parents are racist and their grandparents are racist and their great-grandparents were racist too. Why would you expect them to be any different? Besides, they're born into the system that benefits them for their race or gender. It starts right out of the womb. You know, they say the doctor gives them a slap on the butt when they're born. Well, for women it's to condition them to be hit right from the start. For boys it's to show them to be tough, starting toxic masculinity instantly. Doesn't get more sexist than that.
How can you possibly say that the phrase "all lives matter" is somehow racist? It sounds like something the Dalai Lama would say.
Much how we need feminism over egalitarianism, Black Lives Matter is there as a response to black people being disproportionately attacked by cops. I mean, that's what I heard on CNN, never actually looked into the numbers myself, but the news media would give me an accurate depiction. I mean, assuming it's something I already agree with, you know.
Would you rather be right or popular? It seems like your primary objective is to score social points and get public validation. You speak publicly in the same way that people write their dating profiles. Stop trying to demonstrate how awesome you are and get real.
First of all, you're a pig for sexualizing that woman in the background. I mean, I can't take my eyes off her ass and giant tits. Well, I'm popular because I'm right. I don't need reassurance that my opinion is right, that's why I disable comments, and block anyone who doesn't agree with me.
So if a drunk man sleeps with a drunk woman, the woman is incapable of giving consent, but the man is?
Yes, that is correct. You see, alcohol frees people to their desires. Women have a desire to be loved, where men have a desire to rape. You see the distinction? Because men are the ones objectifying women and acting upon them, the act of sex is inherently rapey. Alcohol turns up the rape side of the male brain. It also turns off the woman's ability to say what they really mean. They could be yelling yes yes yes, but really mean no no no. It's the alcohol that causes that. And men need to be held responsible in all cases. They should be used to their rape side of their brain being out of control.
Is it really easier to spend your life attempting to pacify the world and subdue all around you, instead of accepting that you are the person who has to change?
Just a typical male, putting all the blame on women. Last I checked, women weren't the ones raping women on the streets. Checkmate, Mr. White Man.
When I'm singing along with rap music, is it okay if I say the word nigga?
No. White men cannot say nigga. It's okay for me to say it because I'm a woman who is oppressed by the world for having a vagina.
How do you reconcile your opinion that gender doesn't matter or even exist with your need to invent new genders each day?
Gender does matter, you sexist. Those people saying it doesn't matter are saying it because they shouldn't be treated worse than cis white men for being different. But gender does matter when women are being discriminated against by being sexualized.
In your version of equality, will white men ever have a voice in society, or will white men always be too privileged to participate in discussion?
White men are never going to understand the discrimination women face in life. So yes, men should always just listen to what women have to complain about. Listen and believe. We're right. We're always right.
What makes you think that the power of censorship that you are so desperately trying to establish now will at no point be used against you?
Because like my answer to the last white male loser, women are always right when it comes down to men or women. And my opinion is the only valid one, so therefore censoring based on my sensibilities will always be in my favor. They either agree with me or they're wrong. How could that be turned against me? Not like anyone else has that idea.
Why is it that if a woman dresses sexy or even topless in public, you support it, but if a female video game character is dressed sexy, then you want her clothed more modestly?
Because in video games men are the ones controlling the clothing for the female characters. Women in real life reinforcing the tropes I hate about video games are doing it of their own freedom of expression. You should know, Mr. Amazing Atheist Guy. Women are always right when it comes down to men and women.
What is your favorite song to sing really loud when you're confronted with a different point of view? Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream!
Normally I just hum to myself.
Everything is sexist, everything is racist, everything is homophobic, and you have to point it all out.
Why are you afraid of dissenting opinions? Your continued attempts to silence all opposition either by smearing them publicly or labeling their content as hate speech and having it removed only serves to insulate your bubble even more and maintain your echo chamber. It also prevents you from taking on new information and hearing different points of view that are sometimes superior to yours, which tends to happen whenever I talk.
Shut up. I don't need people in my life who don't agree with every word I say. You wonder where John McIntosh went? I saw him using a cup with a straw one time. After that I knew he was a sexist.
What is reverse racism? Like, what the actual fuck is it? It's just racism, right? I mean, am I going crazy here? Am I taking crazy pills?
Reverse racism is the idea that a person in power is discriminated against because of their race. But that cannot possibly happen because it's only racist if it's systematic. I learned that when I got my women's only scholarship.
Do any of you people actually remember all the pronouns? You know the list, right? The one with 76 fucking genders.
Most people count sheep when they are trying to sleep. I prefer to recite my pronouns. But it gets me too excited. I usually have to go through them several times.
Why do you feel entitled to control what artists and entertainers are allowed to express? Why do you think your sensibilities should be placed above the sensibilities of actual creators?
Because it's easier to sit on the sideline and tell people what they're doing wrong. You really should relate, Mr. Atheist Guy. Sitting in front of your paper brick wall yelling at women on the internet. At least my criticism helps women feel better.
Have you ever considered that using the terms racism and sexism as haphazardly as you do to describe everything under the sun that makes you feel uncomfortable devalues the word to the point that it actually hurts the people who actually suffer from real sexism and real racism? Have you ever fucking thought of that?
I am a woman. You have no idea how sexist the entire world is. The world hates women, and that is not fair. How dare you say I'm not really oppressed by the patriarchy? My name is Anita the Sarkeesian, and this has been Feminist Frequency. Be sure to subscribe to this channel and give this video a like. Otherwise the patriarchy wins. If you liked this video you can check out my other videos like Cups Are Sexist, and Anita the Sarkeesian calls out the Amazing Atheist. But whatever you do, don't watch any of the videos by the Booze and Bullshit Show. The person who makes those videos is a horrible sexist and needs to be ignored. He says shit happens. We make fun of it. Well, the only shit I see is the crap that monkey pulled out of his ass and wants to pass off as entertainment.